The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. Yeah!
Hi, and welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. In today's episode, I'm going to talk with Mara McCartney of Fluidra, and we're going to go over the Nature2 mineral sanitizer for you and go over some of the benefits of it and how it could help you reduce the chlorine usage in your pools. Leslie's Pool Supplies is a proud partner of the Pool Guy Podcast Show. Leslie's Pool Supplies has been do-it-yourselfers and pool trade professionals' trusted partner since 1963, providing quality products and services to make pool care easy and solutions and expertise to do it right. So as you may be aware of, or you may not be aware of at this point, looking into the next season, it looks like there's going to be a shortage of trichlor tablets and maybe an overall shortage of all chemicals as people go to other forms of chlorine to compensate for the lack of the 3-inch trichlor tablets. So I've been going over different products that you can use to enhance the chlorine in your pool, to use less of the chlorine basically. So this is a way that you can actually run your pool with less chlorine in it. And if you do pool service, you also definitely need ways to reduce your chlorine usage. And so the Nature2 is just one product of many that help reduce the amount of chlorine you're going to use in your pool. And today we're going to go over this in detail for you so you get a better idea of what the Nature2 actually is and how it can help you reduce your chlorine usage in your pool. So I'm joined today by Mara McCartney, and she's the Senior Product Manager of Water Care Products over at Fluidra. How are you doing today, Mara?
I'm doing great, David. How are you?
Good. You want to give the listeners a brief introduction of your background there at Fluidra?
Sure. So like you said, I'm a product manager and I handle our water care products. So that includes not only our saltwater chlorinators, but also our Nature2 mineral sanitizer.
Okay, and then so the Nature2, you want to go over, people may not be familiar with it, you want to go over some of the aspects of the product for the listeners and why they would be wanting to get it for their pool?
So our Nature2 product is a mineral sanitizer, and it consists of silver, copper, and alumina. And the silver is going to be killing bacteria. The copper kills algae, and then the alumina holds all those minerals together. So it really creates like a time release of those mineral ions so that you're not overdosing your pool.
Yeah, so I know that I have one in my pool myself, and it's easy to adjust the output for the pool size with the top of it. And so how long does the product last in your pool? I think a lot of people are going to ask right away when they purchase it, how long is this thing going to last? Is it going to last the whole season?
So we recommend that people change their cartridges either once a season or every 6 months, depending on if it's if they're in cold weather climates, then they would just use one cartridge during the season. And if they're in warm climates, they would want to replace their cartridge every 6 months or twice a year.
Okay. And then now you mentioned the fact that it has a silver and copper and the copper, of course, is for the algae. And another, I think, benefit of this product is that it'll reduce the chlorine use. And I know this from the one I have in my pool. And with the coming trichlor shortage that's going to probably happen in the industry, I think reducing chlorine usage is a key going forward into the season. And I guess it's good for any season because people are kind of conscious of their health and they don't want a lot of chlorine in their pool. And can you touch on some of the things why the Nature2 helps reduce the chlorine use in the pool?
Right. So we think that this is a great benefit of the Nature2 product, so that we've actually registered Nature2 with the EPA. So the EPA gives us guidance on what claims we're able to make. And one of those is that it's been proven that you can reduce your chlorine in your pool when you're using Nature2. So given the guidance through the EPA, they say that the chlorine can go down to a 0.5 ppm residual in your pool when using the Nature2 product correctly, meaning changing those cartridges periodically. It's really a great way to be able to reduce the chlorine in your pool and still have it be safe and clean to swim in.
Yeah, so is it safe to say, since it has the copper element in it, that algae won't form in the pool, thereby allowing the chlorine to be more effective?
Yeah, that's right. And also the silver that's in there will be killing bacteria as well. So your chlorine is able to work more effectively, and you don't need to have such a high chlorine load in your pool.
And I think that's important because I think a lot of people want to use less chlorine. And if you're a pool service provider and you have 80 accounts on your route and you're using trichlor tablets, I think this would be a great way to reduce that usage also.
Right. That's always been the benefit of Nature2 was that you're able to reduce your chlorine usage. It becomes more important now, as you're pointing out, because of the trichlor shortage. So it really could be a great supplement for chlorine, not a replacement to chlorine, but a supplement to chlorine, and help pool servicers, as you said, be able to use less chlorine, especially trichlor, if that's what they've already been using on their pools.
So for the pool professional, what would be the benefit of installing a Nature2 at their client's property?
Well, there's several. Certainly, you have the benefit of the pool water is going to be cleaner, and then the algicide that's in there, that they'll leave a residual in the pool. So it should be easier to maintain and take care of. You're going to be able to reduce your chemical use, meaning reducing chlorine as well as other algicides. So that's a benefit to the pool professional. But the last thing that we should mention is that there can be residual revenue for the replacement cartridges. So if you're replacing the cartridges once a season or every 6 months, that can be a renewable revenue for the pool professional that's changing out those cartridges. And then, of course, the benefit to the homeowner is that they're going to be able to enjoy their pool and use the Nature2 product like it was intended to, meaning keeping those minerals in the pool. So it's really a win-win for both the pool professional and the pool owner.
Yeah, and so is it safe for all the surface types, vinyl, fiberglass, plaster, tile, and pebble tech?
It sure is. It's safe to use. We have a no stain guarantee. So when the product is used properly, there shouldn't be a problem with any pool surface. And we even have products available not only for in-ground pools, but also for above-ground pools too.
Okay, and then I think you mentioned no stain guarantee. I think the I guess I was gonna say the nature of the product, but the way the product is designed, the minerals don't go on all in at once, right? It's a slow release.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So as I was explaining before, because of the minerals that we have in there, all the minerals aren't dumped into your pool immediately. They're released over time. And that's why, you only need to replace it every 6 months or once a pool season, because it's not dumping everything in your pool at once. The minerals are released slowly over time.
Okay, and then is there any cautions with the product then if that's the case?
So the Nature2 product works great in most pool types. One caution would be it is not compatible with biguanides. So if somebody is using that type of a sanitizer in their pool, it would not be compatible with Nature2. The second thing is that if because it has copper in it, we recommend that you don't use it with another copper algicide.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense there. And what about saltwater pools? If you have a salt cell like me, is it compatible?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it works with really any type of chlorine or bromine, and works very well with the salt system. So, as we were talking about before, since you're able to use less chlorine in your pool, it actually works great with a saltwater chlorinator because you don't need to run your salt cell as much, and it'll extend the life of your salt cell. So it's really works well. They pair well together.
That's great. I think there's a lot of salt pools across the nation, and I think that's something that people are always interested in is trying to save the life of their cell because those things aren't cheap to replace.
Yeah, absolutely. If the harder you run your cell and the greater the chlorine output, that's obviously more difficult on the salt cells. So by reducing the runtime or the percentage output of chlorine, then certainly this Nature2 is a great way to help reduce that and save the life of the cell.
Let's talk about the installation process. I think people are always hesitant to install a product that goes on the equipment area, and I know from experience I've installed it. But you want to go over kind of how simple it is to install this on your equipment.
Sure. As I was saying before, we have different vessels, Nature 2 vessels that you can choose from. Some of them are as simple as being able to drill into the pipe, and you want to put it on the return line. So you would drill into the pipe and then be able to clamp over the pipe with all the clamps. Everything is included in the package for you, including um, that hole saw. And you could drill into the pipe and do a simple installation. Another method would be that you would have to cut out a section of the pipe and then just glue it on. So once that vessel's installed, you only do it once. And then replacing the cartridge is very simple. The cartridge replacement is as simple as just unscrewing it and putting a new one in. Very, very similar to how you would change a filter in your a water filter, for example.
Yeah, so I think it's very simple, and I think if people are hesitant about installing it on their equipment, you can always call a professional out, and it's kind of a one and done deal, like you said. It's not something you install more than once, so that kind of eliminates that issue, I think. And then I talked about the output earlier a little bit. So how would you adjust the output for your pool size? Is there like trial and error? Is there like a set rule to adjust it?
Well, there are different size cartridges. So again, depending on what type of model, Nature 2 model you're buying, we have cartridges that are good for smaller pools up to 25,000 gallons, and and then larger cartridges, meaning that they have more media inside, up to 45,000 gallons.
Okay, and I can actually hear the little minerals bouncing around in there when the pool is running. Is that normal?
Absolutely. Yeah, it sounds a little bit like a popcorn popper, like an old-fashioned popcorn popper. So that's what you're hearing are the minerals that are moving, the water flowing through the cartridge and then the minerals moving around. So that's completely normal.
And so for most people, it'd be pretty easy to install and set up and have it run correctly. And so the sizes of the units, you want to just kind of go over and name them so that people that have maybe a spa or different size pools can pick the right one.
Sure. So we've really been focusing mostly about our pool products. So when we were talking about the installation, I mentioned the drilling into the pipe is one method. And so that would be our Nature 2 Express product. And we have two different models available, one for in-ground pools and then one for above-ground pools. So there's an adapter in there that people could put on their flexible pipe if they do have an above-ground pool. And so that is good for pools up to 25,000 gallons. One of our most popular versions is our Nature 2 Fusion in-ground. And so that's a vessel that comes with a chlorine tab feeder and the Nature 2 cartridge built into it. So that's a combination vessel. And we have three different size cartridges available for that, up to 25,000, 35,000, or 45,000 gallons. We also have our Fusion Soft product, and that's a combination vessel with a saltwater chlorinator, and then the Nature 2 cartridges. So again, that 25,000, 35,000, and 45,000 gallon pools. So those are our most popular models. The last thing that I'll mention is that we do have the Nature 2 Spa Stick available for standalone spas. So if you have a pool spa combination that's really one body of water, you can just use the in-ground pool vessels, and then that will be sanitizing both your pool and your spa. But if you have a standalone spa, we have the Nature 2 Spa Sticks, and that just drops right into your filter, and you would replace that cartridge every 4 months rather than every 6 months if you were doing the pool products that we were talking about.
Okay, and I think, just to sum things up, there's really, no reason not to try the Nature 2 because number one, you won't be purchasing algicides at the pool store, every other week. You won't be shocking your pool because of how it actually works. And I'm trying not to say the word nature, the nature how how it works. But the nature of the product is that it will eliminate the need for algicides because it has a mineral in there that's slowly released in the pool, and it'll reduce your chlorine usage. So I think it's definitely a 1-2 punch as far as for your pool. I mean, you have the fact that it's going to eliminate algae, which no one likes brushing algae or likes the sight of it, and it's going to help you reduce your chlorine use.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a great product, really for all times, but especially now with the potential trichlor shortage in the market. Like you said, people are looking to reduce their chlorine usage anyway, but this will really help people, give them an alternative and an extra sense of protection for their pool to just keep that water cleaner and clearer. And it also gives the water a nice feeling too. So bather comfort is really a side benefit too.
I think you're right there. And so where can they purchase the Nature2? Where is it available?
So several ways. So it is available at retail locations. If you go to our website, nature2.com, and that's the number 2, so nature2.com, there's a dealer locator there where you can look up a retail location in your area and find it there. Or you can contact a dealer, and a dealer could, there's also a dealer locator that someone could help you with your installation, and you can even buy your replacement cartridges through that dealer.
And I guess that goes to the second part of the question is if you're a pool service provider, you can find that at your wholesaler also to install at your customer's house.
Yes, absolutely. We do sell through wholesale as well.
So perfect. I think again, the product I have it myself, I'm running it and I like the product. And I think if there were any drawbacks, the installation is pretty quick, about 10 minutes for the one that you drill the hole into. And then right away you're going to notice a reduction in chlorine and the elimination of algae. And I guess before we close, what if someone has a pool that has algae already? Let's say their pool's got algae and it's green or maybe turning green. How would they incorporate the Nature2 product into that? Would they clean their pool first, or can they use that as a supplement to get the pool cleaned up?
First, if they have algae, they need to clean it out. So you want to make sure that your pool is clean and free of algae before you install this product. So get your water balanced and clean out the algae. And then when you put the Nature2 on, you'll see the effects, and that you shouldn't be getting out those algae blooms and the reduced chlorine usage that we've already talked about. But yes, I would recommend cleaning out the algae first if you have an active algae bloom.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for your time, Mara. I think that was great information for the listeners and for those that aren't familiar with the Nature2 product. And I think there's a lot of pool professionals that walk back there and they see the unit on the equipment and they have no idea what that is, because I know they send me pictures all the time of the Nature2 unit and wanting to know what it is on the equipment. So I think this really will help get people to know more about the product and know that it's out there and available and what it's actually used for.
Right. Well, I thank you so much for your time, and I'm glad that you're a user and that the Nature2 product's working well on your pool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, if you want some more information about the Nature2 mineral sanitizer, you can go to their website, nature2.com. And the Nature2 is part of the Fluidra family of products, formerly Zodiac Pool Systems. And you can definitely find information directly on their parent website also. But of course, their dedicated website, nature2.com. And that'll give you some more information about the product. I really like it. I've been using it on my pool this whole season to test it out. I like the fact that you can actually hear the minerals working in there, bouncing around in there. I also like the fact that it's a slow release system, so there's no worry about, a bunch of minerals going into the pool rapidly causing any kind of problems or staining. So definitely very easy to install, very easy to use, and I'm a big supporter of the Nature2 product just for the fact of what it does and how it can enhance the chlorine in the pool and help reduce your chemical costs if you're operating your pool yourself as a homeowner or as a pool service company. It's a great way to reduce your overhead by lowering the amount of chlorine you're going to use at that service account that has a Nature2 device installed there. If you're interested in listening to other podcasts that I've recorded regarding the trichlor shortage or any other subjects, you can definitely find them very easily by going to my website, swimmingpoollearning.com, and on the banner, click on the podcast icon, and you can go down and see all the different episodes I've recorded in the past. And if you're in the industry and you want to enhance your business, definitely think about joining my coaching program at poolguycoaching.com. A lot of great benefits for joining, including the ability to call me and text me, Plus, you get a discount on your general liability insurance and other benefits. You can learn more about that at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to today's podcast. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless. Leslie's Pool Supplies has been do-it-yourselfers and pool trade professionals' trusted partner since 1963, providing quality products and services to make pool care easy and solutions and expertise to do it right.